hours. We're 1 for 1 for the year in 2023. We've hit every week so far of office hours, so that's good to know. We're doing an amazing job. High five.
High five.
All right, cool. Hey, today we're going to talk about over the last, what I like to kind of do towards the end of the year is kind of spend some time diving into projects that get neglected, right? Is really what ends up happening. And for us, right, the Cowboy Kids Have No Shoes, that's our own website, right? So our own SEO. And I dove in pretty deep from about the 20th through today, still going onwards now. I think it's a project that's kind of living and breathing now. So that's good. But it's the SEO of our own site, and we had probably 350 posts on our site, all the way back to 2015. Some of these posts, and some of them not providing a ton of value to searchers and users in our space, right, anymore. And I think what we're testing here is going through and trimming all the pages. It's gone through a couple of different iterations. I would say the first one was, hey, anybody that has less than 10 users in a year, we're gonna remove them, right? And then there's some pages that didn't even have 10 users that wouldn't even show up in our analytics, right? So that was something we had to identify as well. So then I went through and leveraging rank math as a tool. Looked at search position rankings, is it in the index, all this stuff, number of impressions, traffic, all of it, as I'm kind of bouncing through these pages. And I'd say we removed, out of the 400 pages I think we had, cut it more than half, right? So we're down to about 150 posts that we've left. And now I've asked Brittany to kind of go back through and bring back to life some of the pages that we removed, because I think I removed too many. So Brittany, why don't you kind of talk a little bit about what you're doing as you look at them? For me, it didn't matter if they were ranking or not. And I think that's what she's seeing on a few of these. So go ahead.
Yeah, this is such a good topic because I think most marketing agencies are guilty of neglecting their own marketing. It's actually pretty common when we get people in who said this. So we're not in a unique situation, but it's really interesting when you go back into your own website to see what you would apply to a client, right? I think we're learning. Michael and I sit at a high level where we're not in the weeds with client campaigns. So we're kind of also learning what we might want to implement to the agency as we go. And I think one thing that might be important to talk about is the difference between Yoast and Rank Math, because that, for a lot of our partners and people probably looking at this, there are those two options, like which one do you go with for even your clients, which we can get into. But as far as like what I'm looking at now that Michael's kind of done a good sweep of everything, the biggest thing for us is what are we trying to rank for? And I mean, there were pages from like 2012. So went back even further than that. And they were funny. I actually laughed through a lot of them as we were going, like what they were being written about. And at the time, I think it made total sense. But how long do you need?
Well, back then you just produced content to produce content, to show that you're active and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of the play.
So I think for us, it's what do we want to rank for? And if we take away the things, like we have a post that ranks pretty high for just some topic around Google My Business. I think it's like why you don't want to use a PO box, and it ranks under where Google has their own answer. But what we're trying to figure out is what value does that still provide to us if it's not actually bringing in the right people for what we're trying to sell? Does it hurt the domain authority? Like if we're taking these things away, like that's what we're trying to kind of navigate through, because I think it'll help us understand at the end of the day what we want to model as far as an SEO strategy goes going forward at our own agency. So currently I'm just kind of seeing what was there, what's not there, how did it impact us? Because I think Michael's lens is through the white label side, which makes complete sense. Like we just relaunched 51 blocks for the Just Sell method, and that's kind of where our focus is now going to be. And this is a good topic as well around how you're pivoting your business. What used to be important to us was bringing in, I think, more of the people who were just interested in digital marketing because we sell a product where they can start their own business. And then as we refined it along the way, it was like, no, we want people that know what we do, right? Because they're going to be easier to manage, and they're going to have better expectations. And so we've along the way probably shifted our content around that as well. And we were also a retail side where I think those were the topics that were generating more of that, the small business owner who's just trying to figure out how to do their own digital marketing, and they come across our content that has it. But maybe you can talk a little bit about what you like about Rank Math, because I've had several partners ask why we choose it over Yoast, and what benefit it ends up giving the client at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think we have another site that's it's much bigger. It's 200,000-300,000 visitors a month, and it was using, I don't think it was using anything. So I then tested Rank Math with that and saw some pretty cool things that I'm sure Yoast does this as well. I think I just dove into Rank Math deeper, more quickly with the pro version. Able to add schemas pretty quickly, actually really quickly. Like every page on that other site has a video. It was very quickly to add video sitemap to it. You can see in Google or in Google Search Console immediately, we now have a ton of schema for video. It's actually really cool from the day, like 2 days later, because it gets spidered every day. Now it's just like everywhere, right on the site. It gives a ranking score per page, so I'm able to see per page how it does SEO based on what they think the metrics are. Not so concerned about that, but also allowed us to see some things that I wanted to add, a breadcrumb, some easier navigation, have more of a templated page type of stuff. It just really helped me hone in on the structure of the page, of when you have a site that has 700 to 800 posts that actually all generate traffic, and how you have to kind of coddle each one of those to move the rankings and do things like that through the process. It does it does things like generates the site map and does all of that stuff. I just think, I don't know, we've used that tool, then we used Ahrefs, right, with the audit tool. Dove in very deep there as well for 3 different sites. The big site that I mentioned, 51 Blocks, and then Bionic as well. Fixing the errors, obviously easier on a smaller site, right? We're able to get through all those errors, get to 100 within 2 or 3 days. 51 Blocks is taking a long time because it's been neglected for such a long time with image alt tags or those other things that are just your basic blocking and tagging that haven't been done. So, and Rank Math score looks at that stuff too, and will increase over time as we do it. And I think Rank Math support has actually been really good. I write them in, and they get back to me within a day or so with a responsive and a pretty helpful response of, hey, you go do this to do this. And I ask additional questions on top of it, and I've been able to get pretty good answers from it. So, how about you? What do you like about it?
So as more of like the account manager's shoes, I like Rank Math because, one, the ease of use for me, once you understand how to use it, it makes a lot of sense going into each page and learning how to use the little tool. They have some newer features from the time we started using it a couple years ago. They have like the ability to generate a title and things of that nature. I personally just like kind of their checks and balances. I know Yoast has a version of this too. When we were doing the bigger site that we have, it was kind of nice to go in and see so we use Surfer as well, how it was stacking up against what Surfer was also using as far as like target keywords and what we had in there. I think it's a complement to any SEO, like what your strategist is probably already doing. It's also probably nice to some degree to use what they have in there to let clients know that, their pages are optimized and things like that. So I think it's a better strategist tool than Yoast. Yoast to me is like I always say this is my only reference to things like this, but like Basecamp, right? It's very basic. It's your basic project management tool. That's what Yoast feels like to me as a strategist. It's kind of just like making sure you've got your title and your meta and some basic stuff in there. Whereas Rank Math has a lot more power. Like Michael is saying, you can look at the whole overview of all your posts and your pages and kind of see at a very high level how each one is stacking up against the next. And it allows you to make, I think, faster decisions when it comes to what you're going to be optimizing or focusing on. Right now, I'm actually trying to understand how it works against Google Analytics. and what that data tells us as well. So every tool is going to look a little different. It's just interesting when you start to use
I also
it.
think some of the like high level stats that it provides are pretty cool too, right? Like,
Yeah.
like you said, it integrates with Google Analytics, right? So
Right.
it's bringing in, and Google Search Console, right? So it's bringing in all of that data, so you can make business decisions based off of that very quickly, and can kind of see, you know, hey, what's your average position? Has it gone up or down? Clicks, stuff like that. And obviously, pretty concerning when you're in December over the holidays, all your traffic goes away anyways. So you're seeing all this stuff go down. But overall, like, I think if you take the bigger picture, which is what Brittany always likes to tell our clients and remind me of, is that you gotta, you know, step back and look at it a little bit in regards to how does it look in regards to the analytics at a more, you know, broader scope than just write in kind of thing. So.
Right. Yeah. I also liked how when we were in there in that bigger site, we've got a lot of content. It helps us see what types of topics we would likely expand on based on the stats that we can see in there, how much, you know, each of those types of posts are getting as far as traffic, impressions, clicks, stuff like that. So I think it allowed us to look at things when it comes to the future development of what we're trying to do in a different way as well. But yeah, I definitely recommend it over the other optimization tools inside of WordPress for sure. Cool. Anything else on analyzing your own SEO that you would like to share?
I don't think so. Like I said, I think it's caused us to come back in and review, you know, what we're doing.
Right.
Just because it's like I'm coming. It's almost like I dove in so deep. I'm coming from the ground up on the other site, right? The big massive site that we have, and you kind of came top down, and then we met, and then we created a process to fix the pages after we kind of work through that way. So
yeah.
Anyways, that's kind of what we're focusing on right now in the last couple weeks, and going into the first quarter is kind of positioning all this stuff so that we can hopefully have a good first quarter. And we're starting to see the leads actually come in differently. That's a different type of lead coming in, and seems to be a little higher quality as well. So, would you agree with that, Brittany?
I would say that's true, and I don't think we've talked about the Just Sell method yet on this.
No, we haven't, so we'll save that for people.
But yeah, I think it has to do. We have two pages on our website that I think generate the most traffic, and those are the ones that we've put the most effort into. So if you're going to prioritize what you're doing for your own company or your own SEO, I'd say start there. I always start with the data, and then you just kind of go off of that to start optimizing for your site.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well,
Have a good one.